Hello everybody. Good morning. Please confirm if I'm clearly audible. Those who can hear me. Okay. So very good morning. Yesterday we saw some tricks like group by and group by coupled with order by and summaries. Then we moved ahead with nested queries and we saw some examples of nested queries. So should I give you some questions on nested queries? Want to recall it quickly? Mhm. Nested query once again. Okay, पहले ठीक है. Very fine, Nikhil. Guys, anybody else? Okay. Order by and group by. Okay. Nested query seems to be a troublemaker for everybody, I believe. Almost everybody is questioning about that. Done all. That's fantastic to see. Okay. If all done, well and good. Whichever done, well and good. Nested query. What is the confusion in nested query, guys? Let's see. Let's see again. I needed typing question 31, which is with you people already. I needed a calculation which is not otherwise available. If I do that calculation by a query, I can insert that query in parentheses in place of that value, which I wanted here. This was the question, no? Yes or no? Question 31. I needed those employees' details whose salary is more than above all average, right? So rather than using this value, what could I have done? I could have calculated this value separately and put in that value here. So rather than doing that, what I'm doing is I'm inserting that query as is in parentheses, which we are calling nested query or maybe subquery. Now this is one way. Now this is one utility of nested query. I believe you are not confused by the idea of this nested query. You are confused by the use of nested query in this previous question. Is it so? Yeah, it is a bit complex. I can get that. Okay. Now the utility comes. See, when I use nested query and it is giving me result a value, it's just giving a value. Yes, it is just giving a value, and on that value, I am putting up my condition that my salary should be greater than this value. So this is happening. What can happen? Think about it. A nested query, if I write it this way, I don't want salary, I don't want average salary, I want salary of all employees. So the query will be this. I put this in parentheses, and okay. Now, what is this query returning? It is not returning one value. What do you think? Yes or no? It is not returning one single value now. What it is returning is a table in itself. Correct? Getting the idea? If I run this only selected portion, you see it is returning salary of all the employees, which is by far a, you see salary of all the employees, which is per se table in itself. So when these kind of things I have to do, it is always good to use alias for this table. How do I use alias for this table? Select salary from employees. When I use this query, it is returning a table. I use an alias. Table 1, table 2, table 3, that kind of thing. Can somebody please confirm if voice clear? No cracking, no breaking? Is my voice perfectly clear? So Jyoti, most of them are confirming to it. So maybe you can tweak out your connection. Maybe you can break off and join in again. Maybe give it a couple minutes. If it improves, then it's okay. Because many of them are giving that it is okay. So yeah. So what I was telling was, if your nested query is returning a single value, then it is okay, because single value you will have to do comparison, as simple as that. Single value you will compare it with something, salary, like we were doing with average salary. But if your nested query is returning a table, if your nested query is returning a table, it is always a good idea that use alias for that table. Okay, because whatever condition you will be using, it will be not be using on this entire table. Your condition will be against some value. So that's the idea of alias. Alias you already know. We can give alias to anything, right? So leaving this portion as it is, coming back to the query just before this. What was that query? It wanted projects which have least number of employees. One way to do that could have been uh, the limit clause, which you have already seen. So that could have been a rough way. When we come to nested query, we are trying to do by this query, nested query. So what do you think you need? You need number of employees according to project number. That's one. First of all, you need that. Jyoti, I think we tried that yesterday. It didn't work out that way. You cannot use function within function like this in just aggregate functions will only work in select clause. Maybe give it a try, no? Try this out. It doesn't work that way. So we think of the idea of getting things one by one. So first, let's get something. What do we get something? We get a table where we get employee count for each project number. You get it here? Uh, okay, very fine. So I was talking about the nested query, how we use that. We use that in sequence. See, we wrote a query which returns a table of, yes, if you understand the mechanism, it is happening this way, Rehan. The innermost query, and outer than that, and outer than that. There can be any number of nesting levels depending upon the query. So first execution goes to this, the innermost query. What does it return? It returns number of employees which are grouped by project. If you want to see project also, you can give that here also. If you want to see, I didn't do it because we don't need it. But for now, I am showing you. So I get project number and count of employees. in this table. Now, just what I said, if it was returning a single value, I could have didn't need to worry about it, but it is returning a table and I need it this way. If I don't give alias, it will glitch. So I'm giving an alias to this table. So my query returns a table T1 which is not otherwise existing in my database. So I have given a local alias T1. So for this query, this table will be available by the name T1. ठीक है जी, तो इतनी कहानी. So this is the table which is available so far. Now what do you need? You needed minimum number of employees. How many number are there which is minimum to a project? So from this table, from this available table, what do you need to choose? You need to choose min number of employees. Yes or no? So I'm extending this from this table which was not available. It is available from nested query, and I am saying select min number of employees from which table? From this table which is nested here. Think about it. What it is going to return? What is this going to return? It will return the minimum number of employees. Reason being, you cannot do count also and min also in one go, bracket within the bracket. So that is not the way SQL works. These things could happen in C, in Java, in R you will see, in Python you will see. SQL doesn't work that way. So far so good. Now coming to the original thing. Now you have a scalable code. You can run it any number of times. You don't have to worry about whether it is 2 or 20. It will be returned by your nested queries. What I am interested now is I want to select project number and number of employees from works on table having number of employees equal to how much? Having number of employees equal to what is returned by this nested query. This nested query you have written to find out minimum number of employees in any project number. When you have that minimum number of employees, you can find out which project number is that. So that is this entire query doing. Okay, so nested query can be as simple as that, and it can go to a complex level like this, depending upon the query. But that's the facility, and that is the trick you will use. The trick you will use is start writing nested query first. What do you need? One by one, and keep them inserted in the parent query. I hope clarity.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, yes.
Anubhav here.
Anubhav.
So in the down, as we have to write the number of employees or the minimum number of employees, right? So in this nested query means basically what we have written in the bracket. That's what it's all about, nested query, right? If I'm not wrong.
Correct.
And we are describing that nested query using alias as T1. We are giving the name as T1 to the particular.
Correct. I'm giving the resultant table, whatever is returned by this nested query, I'm calling it T1.
Okay. So first we need to run this particular one, means that nested one we have to run first. Then after that we need to go
run that. I was showing you that if we run it stepwise, I was showing you how to think of a nested query. Think of it in stepwise. What do you need first? If you have this kind of question, what do you need first? Okay. The first things you will need is you need a table where you can see project number against number of employees working there, right?
right.
So that could be achieved by query. So you write up that query. You have written this query. Now you have a query which returns project number with number of employees. Next, what do you want? You want the least number of employees, how much they are. So you insert this query into this query. So now you get minimum number of employees. What else you need? You don't need least number of employees. You need projects which have these least number of employees. So you insert all of these and finally come up with this parent query. So I was just showing you a trick to how to think about it, how to go stepwise if it becomes way too complex.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Very welcome.
And whatever this function we are using, that like select and as from, so these are all grouped by having, then order by, right. So the whatever the functions we are using in MySQL, these all are called as keywords.
These are basically, yeah, you may say keywords. Not go into definitions there. These are called clause. Select is a clause. Group by is a clause. So these are called clause. Eventually, they are keywords because SQL identifies them with something. So that's what I am calling keyword. Keywords like not in, which you have already used.
Okay. So and not in, these are keywords, right?
Yes, they are keywords too.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay, then there is, okay, Shubhangi, if you use order by clause to see order by and order by and group by are two different things. Have a look. Like question 27. What we were asked is, we are asked among people who draw at least 30,000 salary, what is department-wise average? Or maybe somebody is asking me, display the department-wise average of employees. Department-wise average of employees. and say I wrote this query. So what it would be doing? Well, select department number, average salary as average salary, an alias from employee group by D number. So that is what group by is doing. It is grouping by according to department number. It will group the data into several subsets according to department number and then calculate average salary for each category of department. That's what is happening here. Now, why do we need order by? Order by maybe just if you want to order by it in a particular ascending or descending order. So they are doing two different things.
Hello.
Just a moment. So let's order by it average salary. Let's see what will happen. If I order by it average salary, so now there is grouping, and after that in the sequence there is coming order by clause. So now my query is arranging that in ascending order also. Fair? Shubhangi? Can I do that in descending order?
Hello, sir. Nikhil.
If needed be?
Hello. Alok sir, Nikhil this side.
Yes, Nikhil.
Sir, in question number 30, can we also get the answer by using the limit clause? Like first we use the order clause and then we can use limit clause after that. So can we get the answer through that also?
You can get answer by counting number of combinations. See, by now you have seen many things. Next we are going on to next. My intention is at least to go up to joins. By the end of
Okay, sir.
the joins, you will have several permutations and combinations to use this clause, nested query, join, this and that, to get the answer to a particular query. So all are good answers. Nothing is right. Nothing, nothing is a wrong answer unless and until you are getting the desired result. So of course,
Okay, sir. Sir,
definitely you can use.
also, sir, if we use nested queries, so I think it is more complicated. Like we can shorten our query by using the order by and the limit clause because it is easily understandable, right, sir?
In by what?
Sir, I mean that if we use the order by and the limit clause, we can compact our query that would be easily understandable.
Maybe you can try. Give it a try. No, I'm inviting you to do that.
Okay, sir.
Go ahead, give it a try. See which one is better, and if you can judge one is better, well, follow that method.
Hello.
Good.
Hello. Hello. Hi, sir. Good morning.
Yeah, morning.
Sir, I have a doubt. In question number 26, display the highest salary among female employees and least salary among male employees. So there are two conditions, right? One is male and minimum.
Stay with it. I'm coming on to it. I'll
Okay,
explain that to everybody when it comes.
Okay.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Jagdish.
Sir. Sir, now we can use group A clause. I mean, group A for more than one column.
Yes, that is perfectly fine. Correct. That's something. Can we use grouping by with multiple columns? Yes, of course, you can do with multiple columns.
Sir, how can we divide the columns to?
Let's say, for example, somebody says department wise and gender wise. We want, getting the idea? First we want to segregate department wise, and then within department we want to segregate gender wise also, and then I want to see average salaries. If that be the query, yes, I can group by department number. So first is department number, so I mention department number. Next is gender, so I mention sex here. Here in the chat box, maybe you can change the question number. So that is multiple grouping by. If you wish, yes, you can do that. Okay, but it is also good that you keep all the groups in display also when you choose such kind of thing. Anybody else? Anybody else with some query? Or should I move it? Should I move it? Well, question 30 taken care of. Okay, we shall take this as a cue to move ahead. Question 32. Who could do it? Who all could do it? Okay, many have done it. Okay, my goodness, Jyoti, you are going next step. I didn't ask for query. Chalo, anyway. You guys are excited, I think. So you drop me the query directly. Others, those who could not do it. Those who could not do it, could you give me a? Could you give me a no? Those who could not do it, just drop me a no. For me. Okay, okay, okay. So nothing wrong in that at all, because this was something which you have not seen yet. It is concat function. Many have done. Many have still not done it clean. But okay. Concat stands for concatenation, and this is something popular. It will come in handy many a time. It is available in R, Python, Excel, SQL. You will find it everywhere mostly. This version or that version of this function. What did the question ask? It wanted you to print full name of the employees. First name, last name. Or maybe first name, middle name, last name. Whatever. And then they wanted department number. So that's pretty obvious. Department number is very straightforward. So what we are doing, select concat f name. What is this in between? This is white space. right? Concat is a function to concatenate, to combine several strings. So I want to concatenate strings in f name, leave a white space in between, and then last name should be concatenated. And I want to call it किसका query लिया था? Whose query? I picked this up. I think it was Jyoti, yours. You were the first to drop. See, use these quotes here. By accident, you may use a keyword. Name is a keyword also. When SQL sees name, it relates it to something. Okay, so when you want to use variable name kind of thing, your alias, these kind of things, so you use that in double quotes. It will be better so that your query doesn't get confused. It may glitch sometimes. And what happens? You didn't have name column. You didn't have any column where the name was written like this. You had first name, last name, middle units. Now you are getting a complete column. Fair? So that's concat. Now, especially those who could not do it. You already know. You cannot remember all the functions. Shubhangi, I would say, Asha, I would say one more thing before I go any further. These are queries. You are writing them on a script file. So play around. That's what I usually say to all the students. I have said this at some point of time. Why, why throw these questions at me? Why don't you try by yourself? Remove white space in your code and try what happens. It is not going to come back and bite you. Yes or no? It is query. It is either going to give result or it may give you throw an error or warning. What's the harm? Nobody is deducting balance from your accounts. So play around with your queries. See what happens. Remove white space. Insert two white spaces. Try with the middle name also. The middle initials. Maybe I would say give it a title also. Maybe Mr. and Mrs. Try to give that. Do it by yourself. See what happens. Right. If in case something unexpected is happening which you are unable to understand, so what is this? Your query is giving a result and you are unable to understand why it is giving this result. Then you have every right to get back to me. So that's one pointer. Another pointer like this. When you display, I am asking full name. We want to print in one go. You are unable to find this concat function. Why don't you go to the grandpa? You know this, right? Everybody knows this link, right? So take their help, look for it, drop your question, try to explore what you want to do and what could be the function, and it returns. Okay, so start getting into this habit. Whenever you see that this is something new, you are not getting the idea, you know what you should do, don't know the function, go ahead, explore. What to search there? Whatever you want to do. Check this out. Whatever you want to do. What do you want to do? You can drop whatever you want to do. Look for this, calculate average, extract here from this, combine two strings. Okay, let's do that. Combine two strings. You want to do that? Yes or no? This is something we want to do. Combine two columns, two strings. Maybe you will have to tweak around a little bit. It is not as efficient as Google. Okay, but you will find out something. There is a natural sorting function. It is showing you. Then it is showing you there is a group concat function. Oh, this seems interesting. क्या करता है ये? What does this function do? This tutorial shows how to use MySQL group concat function to concatenate strings from a group with various options. Okay, so it is not that efficient like Google. You cannot expect that it will catch your slang words if you write. But if you are searching for the right combination of words, and if you are patient enough, it will give you some answer. Okay. Next question: print full name and department name of employees working in department 4. Who has done it? Select contact, full name, due name, employee. Okay. Manohar has done it with a join. Anybody who has done it without join? Rehan, they did not ask for department number, they are asking for department name. Pay attention to query. You are into enough deep waters, so pay attention to queries now. Don't just abruptly give answers. Ashutosh, it is again more or less department number. They are asking for department name. Anybody who has done it without join? Well, we will come to this just in a moment. What about this? Question 34. Who has done that? Question number 34. Who has done that without a join? Join is easy. Without a join. Who else done it without a join? Shubhangi, drop me your query. Finally, it's coming up. Okay. You see SQL handy people? Every time you don't have to depend on join. There's another way, by the way, easier way. Manu has dropped the query. Shubhangi, do you care to share the query by which you have done? D name is 5. See, D name is 5. Department name is not 5. That's department number. I want the department name. Again, you have tweaked it out. For research, you must have looked manually that it is department number 5. And now you are keeping it department 5. I'm not interested in that. I want it to happen by itself. So that's what is done by Manu's query. Exactly. Perfect. Awesome. All in place. Select first name from employees. That much was in query itself. So simple. Now where department number is, what should be the department number? The problem is I just have department number in employee table. I want my data to be fetched from employee table and I only have department number there. I don't know which one is research department. So either I have to manually see it or I can use nested query. An intelligent work to do. What he has done is department number should be equal to what? Select department number from department table where D name is research. So I will get department number from here. Whose department number will it be? It will be department number of research department. Yes? Yes or no? So I get department number for research department from this nested query. And when department number is equal to department number of employee, I will automatically get first names of those employees who are working in research department. Simple. Nice. And you didn't have to go to joins yet. Now, before I proceed, let's answer this question first because it has been lingering for last 2 days. You have this question already, right? Anybody who could do it? Oh, I would say change the question of numbers. 32, 33, let's call it 34, shall do it, and let's call this lot at 35. Question, this one, somebody was asking. Rehan asked perhaps, what do we do about it? Anybody who could have done something about it? Want to select max salary and you want to select min salary from employer, grouping by gender. Okay, Manohar, let's see what does Manohar has to say about it. What do others have to say? Nikhil, is it running? I don't think it is giving answer. Yes, Jyoti, I can see that. So, Nikhil's answer is not working. Nikhil, this query is not doing what you intended. Well, Manohar has played a street smart trick. He has calculated max salary and min salary for both. So that, okay, your query was asking max for females, min for males. At least I can answer the question. At least I can see and tell manually if somebody is asking. I'm getting that, at least for now. The problem is, yes, it is not pinpoint result. And the problem is you cannot have one query to pinpoint, give this pinpoint result. You cannot calculate maximum for one category and minimum for other category and nothing else. Either there will be this kind of trick that you have calculated max and min both for both. So that could be done, which he has done also. But I want this, but not this. I want this, but not this. This is not happening in one go. However, I want result in one go. So what do we do? What do we do? Jyoti? Jyoti said or Ashutosh said that yesterday. Yes, Harika, exactly. Okay, you have done some vice versa thing, but all in all good. Let's write a query for the result we require. What do we require? We need, okay, you want name also? Well, go ahead. For employees where gender is highest salary, females का चाहिए, not males. So max for females, min for males. This was your question. This was your question. So if I write these two queries differently, it is going to show me first name is Joyce and salary, she is fetching the maximum salary among female employees. That's 43,000. Then there is F name is John, who is fetching minimum salary among males, that is 25,000. Well, first name is not a good idea because, well, you not necessarily know if there is only John or there is somebody else also who is fetching this minimum salary. Getting it? Minimum salary may be 25,000. That's okay, but there may be 2 or 3 people who are drawing the same amount. So let's not go to the first name only. However, we wanted this result to be in one go. So how do we do that? The clause is union, which takes us down the memory lane. Those who have maths, they know set theory. Remember? Remember? Remember the black days of set theory, probability, statistics? Yeah, they are coming back soon. Okay. Somebody has logged in by name CLI. Please identify yourself. Okay. So not exactly name, but gender would be a good idea. You can put name, but I'm avoiding it for some reason. So we have max salary for females and minimum salary for employees. Okay, so that's the union clause, which gives you liberty of uniting two queries and see the resultant in one of two queries. When there are no one query is not possible to give the desired result. So I have written two different queries and then created union of that. Well, with this, this is working for everybody. All set. Now moving towards joins. Now what the joins are? Very often than not, you will have data set coming from multiple sources in multiple files in different structures. Remember we talked about that a database, it has to be an integrated repository. Various tables should be able to interact with each other. Basis of primary key and foreign keys. Yes or no? We talked about that. So these various tables, we should be able to integrate to each other. That integration is what we are calling as join. For example, this very question, which you already answered, however, you already answered that. I want to display the first name of employees working in research department. Okay, by nested query, I have done that. But what if the question is something like this? we want to print full name and department name of all employees working in department number. There is a particular department number 4, and we need department name this time. Now, if I select, okay, full name, okay, chalo wo to that can be done. Full name will be F name, comma, let's try white space, let's see last name. We are calling it employee name. From which table? From which table? So this is full name. It exists in what? Employee table. Very well. What else I need to print? Employee name is printed. I need to print D name also. D name happens to be in a different table. It is nowhere in department table. It is nowhere in employee table. Employee table does not contain any column D name. It only contains department number. So I need to simultaneously fetch data from 2 different tables. That is the problem. I need D name from department and employee name from employee. These 2 things exist in 2 different tables. So what I can do is I can integrate these 2 tables and create a master table. Yes or no? That was the idea. That's why we disintegrated first for the sake of ease. But we kept that facility that I can combine these tables into a master table as and when required. Right? So if I create a master table of department and employee, so in that master table, I will have both the data. Yes or no? I will have the first name also, the employee name also, and the employee's department name also. Everybody getting this idea? If I am able to merge these 2 tables in this employee table, if I fetch this information that okay, this employee is working in department number 5, what is the department name, what is the manager, and what is the manager SSN and manager start date, and all the information of department table just in front of this. This row is extended. So now I have enhanced this data. Now I have that combined data, and in that combined data I have all the variables, whatever I need. In that master table I have first I have name also, I have department also. So let's do that. That is something we call join. So I want to employee name and I want department name from which table? So the table is employee join department. I have joined employee table with department. So the keyword will look like this. From which table? Not one table. From employee join department. On what condition? Now there has to be a condition. How they will join? There has to be some common ground. Which row of department should appear in before which row of employee table? Yes, you're getting the idea? Department number is a common ground. Department number is primary key of department table and it is foreign key in employee table. Remember that concept? A foreign key always points to primary key of some other table. So in employee table, there is D no department, D and O. So the condition is, on what condition? That D and O of employee table should be equal to D num column of, it is D num or D number. I think auto suggestion is given D number. So I think it is by D number name. Okay. So you can write these column names like that. Don't write it just yet. Don't write it just yet. Let me come to that. many a times it will happen. Sometimes you will see that like D number. You see these column names are not very intuitive. What if you have D in this and D number in that, and you are combining multiple tables, not only two tables, maybe you are combining 20 tables. So this becomes confusing. Which column is belonging to which table? Yeah. Don't yet write. I will drop this query. First understand. Just follow my screen. Try to understand. So it is better to mention it like we use many a times we mention it like if I type it employee and I put the dot sign, the dot. As soon as I put the dot, it shows me what are the columns of this table and I can choose the proper column name. So in employee table, it is by DNO department. So now SQL understands that it is belonging to employee table. On the other hand, what is that? Department table, dot. It shows me what should be the department, and here it is by department number. Okay, and terminate. What do we see? Employee names along with their department name. Got everybody? Here in the chat box. For now, what is happening? Exactly. I missed one thing. I was carried away by joins. Jyoti, if LHS and RHS, if these are properly defined, it doesn't matter which side I put department and which side I put employee. For now, it doesn't matter because it is inner join. I'm coming on to those direction joins. Okay, I missed a condition. There was a condition. The condition was where I wanted employee name and department name where Hanji, department number is 4. Okay, so I missed that. I only needed data for those who work in department number 4. I don't know the department name. Okay, it is admin department. Now I know. Jagdish will come to that also. I will end up confusing people if I go with everything in one go. Okay, very fine. I'm dropping a question. Give it a try. Breathe well and give it a try. Okay. You can take 5 minutes to solve the question and take a 5 minutes break. Okay, I will continue in another 10 minutes. It's 11:25 by my clock. So we'll resume at 11:35. Meanwhile, you can try to this question. Here it is in the chat box. Yeah, it does not mean you should go for a break and don't do the question. Okay, so do the question first, then go for the break. Okay, guys. So see you there. So hi again. Hope everybody is back. Just ping me, guys. The chat box, those who are here. Manohar, what's your question? You can just go ahead. Could you solve the query? And keep your chat box to public so that others can also see what you are communicating with me. Okay, if you ask me in private, I would start replying that. Others will have no idea what I am talking about. So please keep your query in public chat. Okay, so this is the same thing which it is going wrong the way it was intended to. Drop me queries, everybody, whatever you have written. Most of you have done it this way. Now, this is something where you should become, you are not only interested in answering the query, but put it logically. We see it is giving you this kind of result. We wanted to display the name of each employee, so we have displayed the full name. Those who have displayed first name, that is also okay. That is not much consequence here. But what is happening is you have fetched project name. Your join is based on department number. One good thing what we see here, guys, please log in with your proper name. You will be dismissed otherwise. One thing what this query has used is, remember we were typing employee dot and department dot kind of thing here, complete table name. So this is also a good idea that you can, when you are joining, you can use alias for tables like E for employee, P for project, so that you don't have to type like employee dot D number and project dot D number. You just have to type P dot and E dot. So alias comes in handy here also. Right. So many of you know already, you have done that. Many of you have used it. Those who don't know, they can also use it. So it is also a good trick. Use of alias. However, what's still wrong? Think about it. Is it about uni? I don't think so. I'll tell you. Hmm. The error is in the logic your query is fetching to platter. Think about it. You have created join on department numbers. All of you, those who have done, you have joined it by department number. The query was interested in projects, not departments. What could go wrong? I don't know if it is wrong in this case, but what could go wrong? What you are trying to do is, you will take employee name who works in department number 5 and you will join it that department number 5 is handling which project. It is handling this project, and it will list all the projects before this person. We don't know whether this person is working on all these 3 projects. Getting the idea? That's what your query is doing. See the result, everybody, those who have done it this way. Do you think it is bad? It is worse. Worse in the sense, this person, say this girl, Alicia, belongs to department number 4. You have taken care of department number. Her department number is taken care of. However, think about it. Alicia could be working on a project which is not governed by department number 4. Maybe the case. Those who have taste of corporate work, they know this. Doesn't it happen usually? Say I belong to analytics department, but my company is doing some marketing campaign in some geography, and I am part of that project. Yes or no? Possible or no? A project which is being governed by a marketing team. I am not part of marketing team, but however, I am part of that project. Possible or no? I hope you are getting the idea right. See, so the logic is wrong. So how do we create that? How can we think about that? What could be the other logic? Rather than joining on project P, I am joining it on works on table. I think this will do just good because works on table gives me perfect distinction which employee is working on which project number. Yes, exactly, Abhimanyu. So this is going to be a three-way join. We call it multi-way join. Earlier we were joining two tables, so it was two-way join. Now we are joining three tables, so it becomes a three-way join. So let's join employee table, we are calling it E. Joining works on table, we are calling it W. On what condition? What should be the condition? On what? Think about it. What is the common ground in these two tables? SSN, exactly. Where P number, P name, अभी तो बात ही नहीं, we are not even talking about that. SSN is the common ground. So E dot which column? SSN column of employee table should be equal to W dot which column? Employee SSN. This should be equal. What else do we need? So now we know which employee works on which project number. We don't need number, we need project name. So where do we get that? That we get from project. So let's join again. And this time we join project P on what? Project dot project number should be equal to project number given in what? W table, which is works on table. Now what will happen? These three tables will combine. If I were to select asterisk, what will happen? You will see the result. If I am selecting asterisk from employee join works on join project, so three tables are combining into a master table. You see, I will have all the data of these three tables. So this has become a master table. From that, I don't want all the details. What do I want? I want to display name of each employee and name of their projects. So only names of employee and name of projects that we are mentioning. Fair, can you find somebody? Can you see at least can you see the difference in the results? Earlier it was something else. Now it is something else. Correct? So you formulate the query, but you don't ignore the logic of the query. Many times I have already said that. I will repeat one more time. You know that? I'm that grandma who nags. So yeah, I won't get tired of nagging you. Pay attention to queries. Pay attention to the logic asked. Okay. We've been through. We have been through roller coaster ride. So this by far brings us to end of joins and these kind of things. Let's try one more question and try this one by yourself. Try to understand the question first clearly. Actually, it is based on the same logic which you just realized. Here it is, along with a hint. Read it properly and try to formulate a query for this. What all is required. And tell me if you are done. When you are done, just drop me or done. Very fine, Abhimanyu. That's one perfect query. Fantastic. Jyoti, your query is all good except for one tweak. I hope you realize that by now. Those who are still confused, having a headache, want to grab a coffee? What are you people doing? Okay, yeah, okay, I'll show you. I'll just show you. See, that's your query. It is all good, nothing wrong. You have joined the tables. It is a multi-way join. You have used this. This I am calling about. This is the tweak. You have chosen project number, which is to be mentioned as project department number. We needed to mention department who runs this project. Project number नहीं चाहिए. Project name, we are getting project name, no? So there is no further utility of P number. It is actually D number. I need department who runs this particular project. So that was just the tweak. Now it is perfect and fantastic. You have employees, which department this employee belongs to, which project he or she is working on, and the department who governs this particular project. Okay. Another question for you people. Here in the chat box, try this out and tell me what do you see. Getting the question? Short and sweet. Everybody should be able to do this. It is most flat query. Go ahead, give it a try. Give me a quick done, everybody. It should be sounding like utensils falling in kitchen. Dun 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 dun. Shubhangi, you have done just let me see SSN project rename. Shubhangi, the query is written on my screen, and check the question. No, check it out. What you are asked for. It is given there. There was a I dropped a hint also. If I'm not wrong. It states what are the columns needed. Oh, now I got. It is giving you hint. It will need a multi-way join. Output heading should be what? SSN of employee, employee department name. So you have taken care of SSN. You have taken care of department name. Then it is telling project name. So why project name is different? Project department number is different. Why you are using project department number as alias for project name? So that is something happening wrong here. Join seam in place. Okay. So for now you can drop you the query. No problem. Here in the chat box, try to see the logic in this query, which is working. So you have done name, dependent name from employee, E join dependent D on ESN. In fact, what about this? Only 3 people who have done this. Only 3 people are able to do this. You know what it is happening now? What's happening now? It's called placebo effect. Actually, it is working like a reverse placebo effect on you. What did the question ask? Employees' first names along with their dependents' names. So there are information coming 2 tables. You just need first name and dependent name. You need to join employee E on dependent E on some condition. The best condition seems like SSN. And it is done. You know why most of people are not able to do it? Because by now their brain is rigged. Your brain is rigged, like you are saying in your head that no, it can't be that easy. We have been through, you know. You have been through the hailstorm of queries and logics. So your brain is thinking, it is building some complex logics to find us very, very straightforward answers. However, think about it. Now, nothing wrong in the query. Nothing wrong in the query. Just in the way things are asked, it becomes confusing. You are an analyst and your HR head wanted to see that bring me details of my employees along with their dependents' names. You come up with this data, and what will happen? Your HR head will say, what happened to all other employees? Do we have only these 3 employees working in our company? What happened to others? She is going to have a mini heart attack. Is everybody leaving my company? You're getting the idea? You come up with first name of employee and their dependent name. So you come up with list of 3 employees and their dependents. You fetch this data to the HR and they are wondering, do we have only these 3 employees? Just understand the situation. He or she, that HR head, she does not know what query you have written. She does not know what is sitting in the database. That's your job. Exactly. So what was expected of you was you list all the employees here and then there should be list of their dependents, and if somebody is not having dependents, well, maybe NA blank null something could be displayed that he or she does not have a dependent. But employee short this employee name, this list should be exhaustive, no? It should include all the employees, yes or no? So that's where types of join come in. By default, this join, we call it inner join. By default, this join is going to do what? You had this table and you had this table. And say you had some common grounds, so these were being displayed. As soon as it happens, that suppose you connected this on SSN. So if it found all SSN of table 1 are found in all SSNs of table 2, then it is all okay, every record will be there. But what if there is a mismatch? Like in this case, you have SSN in employee for each employee, but SSN of each employee is not in dependent table because they don't have dependent. So that's where we come to another kind of join. We call it left join and right join. Both do the similar thing. As the name suggests, what we are asking, you find the common ground, very well, then it is okay. But if you find the mismatch, I need all the records of left table. I need left table complete. I need the complete records of left table, whether you find a match or you don't find a match. If you don't find a match, let's see what will you do. You are getting the idea? So the table mentioned on left side of join command, that will act as left table and all the records should be fetched. In this case, which table is working as left table? Which table is on the left hand? You are sitting in front of your screen, you can see that. So employee table is working as left table here. The keyword is left, So now I am asking for a left join specifically and join dependent D on the same condition. So let's see what happens. Now what do you see? Now what do you see? You get to have all the data from employee table. You have all the employees. Dependents, well, those who had dependents, their names are appearing. Those who did not have dependents, it is coming null. Well, they don't have dependents. Right? Sorted. Got the idea? Simple. Similarly, something is called right join. What does it mean? It means as long as you are getting perfect matches, you are getting the common ground, all good. But if there is mismatch, I need the right table complete. Fetch the data from right table all the through, top to bottom. So maybe try this query, tweak it. This time put employee on right side of the join clause, and rather than keyword left, use keyword right, and think about it. Lo and behold, you are going to get the similar table. Yes or no? I think it is going to do. Go ahead, give it a try. Put employee table on right and join the keyword right join. You should end up with the same table which you are seeing on my screen. Yes? So that's a right join for you people. Last but not the least, here comes a question for you to ponder about in the evening. Not now. Just think about it when you are relaxed after a break, maybe after lunch. Here in the chat box. So with this, I conclude today's session. Tomorrow, we'll talk about a few queries of joins. Tomorrow, I will take your doubts of word schema also. Fair, Jagdish? So we'll discuss that tomorrow across. Take all the questions in fact, which you have done, which you are left with. Okay. And tomorrow, I will open the assignment also, the SQL assignment for you people, which you will be solving across the weekend, and you will submit your submission queries by Monday evening. Okay. So seems good to go. So very well, guys. Think about this last question. Take that into account. So with this, I wind up today's session. Anything particular, you can ping me on WhatsApp. I'll try to revert as soon as possible. Actually, I will have to rush up to another session just in a while. But I can take doubts over a mail. You can drop me a mail and you can drop me a WhatsApp text. Anyway, we are meeting tomorrow. So I will start off with some doubts, some queries which you people have. Then we will move on to another version of join, which is remaining, that is full join. We'll talk about that. Very well then. Very welcome all. Bye-bye. Take care. We'll connect tomorrow, same time. Okay, signing off. Bye.